Hey YouTube. Hey Facebook. Look at my surprise guest is. It's Mr. Lammy, Pastor Lamb Chop, aka Lammy. I said Mr. Lammy. What was I thinking about? I don't even know. He's confused because we're on YouTube and we're on Facebook, and he's like live on both. Yes, welcome to technology, my dear sir.
Amen.
And that's been a minute. We're sitting close because we're tight on Facebook.
Right. Why was it tight? Why was it close?
Because we've been together so long.
Okay.
Anyway, so I wanted to bring my lamb chop on here because I'm always talking about him. I shout him out every video, y'all tell him, don't I? And then he'll be on here pretending like he's watching it, and he don't be watching. He just has it on so he can say, I saw you go live today. But then he'll be listening to what I said. He ain't fooling nobody.
I am watching. I'm listening. I mean, I can hear you.
You can hear me. That doesn't mean you're listening. That's how you stay married. I can hear you, but I'm not listening. So how long have you been married?
Married?
Yes, married. No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It has been 25.
No, because this year, okay, go ahead. It'll be 25 when?
What do you mean? So May 2nd.
Right.
What?
Okay, you're right.
How long do you know? It don't seem like
I know we've been together 34 years come October.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so he's had to deal with a lot in 34 years, which is why I wanted him to be on here, because had it not been for past, I know I'm talking loud because I'm excited.
Can you just call me Marvin? Or is this
No, I want to call you Lammy. Okay, his real name is Marvin, and y'all call him that if you want to. You ain't the boss of me. This is my channel, my YouTube, my rules.
Okay, cool.
That's you ain't in charge.
You're right.
Okay.
Right.
I love it. Yes, I know I'm right. Hi, Stephanie. So I brought Marvin on here with me today as my surprise guest, because if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, right? If it had not been for the Lord and Marvin, I would not have known I was an entrepreneur. Right. So this is one of the hugest, largest, biggest reasons I'm an entrepreneur today. 33 years in, I'm an entrepreneur. Maybe 34 come October, because I became one when we got together. It was after that. So how did you know, besides, y'all, he can be snarky, so I already know he's going to say something crazy and janky, right? So how did you know, besides me quitting a job every 6 months?
That part.
Oh no, let's go back. Okay, y'all, I got excited because Marvin's on here. So today we're talking about supporting your spouse in business. Hey, Erica. So I made the title, and I may change it, but it's basically, how do you support your spouse in business, or what do you do if you're in business and your spouse isn't supportive? Like, how can you work around it? I didn't tell Marvin what we're going to talk about. That way he couldn't prep himself. I got to get him. Right. Lamb Chop couldn't prep.
Top of the dome. Okay.
Right, top of the dome. So I'm gonna do a lot of telling on myself, so that way Marvin can't dog me out on camera. Right?
I wouldn't do that.
Yes, you would. I want you to be yourself.
Okay.
So he doesn't dog me out. He tells me the truth, and I love that. So besides quitting a job every 6 months when we first got together, let me say, when I chased you to DC and forced myself on you to live with you, right? When I was not invited. And every time you came, then we moved in together. Then you came home, and I'd be sitting there on the couch. At first, I think he'd be like, did you go to work today? Yeah, I went, but I ain't stayed.
Yeah, that part.
So how did you know I was an entrepreneur, although I didn't know?
Well, you couldn't really.
Well, let's say this too. This is Marvin Price Jr. This is Pastor Marvin Price Jr., my husband, my honey bunny, my everything. And so I do call him Lamb Chop and Lammy lovingly, but he has a real name, Marvin Price Jr. Give it to the people.
Yeah. What am I answering again?
Okay, so you're answering it to you that you don't see in yourself.
Well,
or they can see your future calling or the things that God has called you to do before you can. And at the time, we weren't saved. Marvin had been in the Nation of Islam, and we had not yet come to know Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. So it's not like we can say, oh, God told us that. Even though the Lord probably did tell us that, we couldn't acknowledge and say it was God that led us to entrepreneurship. So back to you.
I mean, how did I know you were an entrepreneur? Well, I knew you weren't good at holding down jobs.
See what I mean? Him Lamb Chop knew I wasn't an employee.
I knew you weren't good at holding down a job. I knew that.
So but what characteristics did I have that made you know I wasn't good at holding down a job?
I mean, because so.
No, be honest, because I want to be. I want to be honest with the people. Now, don't be too brutally honest, where I have to pop you in the eye on camera.
so you come. I'm a person that believes in rules and policies, things that
right.
and she would always buck rules and policies. So, so when it came to,
I think that rules and policies are relative. I think that they do have a space,
yeah, they do.
just not in my life.
Right. So it was never the structure or the organization. It was always you trying to fit yourself into an organization that has structure.
That's so good.
When you're not a structured person.
So that's good. So he's so rather than just saying, "Girl, you couldn't follow rules," so I'm trying to get this off my screen on YouTube. Hold on. So one way we're trying to help people today, my whole goal with Kingdom Entrepreneurship, Marketplace Ministry, is for you to understand that maybe you don't fit the mold.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would stop trying to fit yourself into the mold, because somebody will see this later. It may not be for those of you watching with us right now, but later on, someone may see this video and wonder why their spouse doesn't support them in business, why they maybe don't support themselves in business, or why they're not following after their path or their calling. But Marvin identified early, I was a rule breaker. Now, I always knew I was a rule breaker. I feel like you should ask for forgiveness and not permission, right? But rules aren't set up that way.
Right. Jobs aren't set up that
way. Corporate America is not set up that way, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to allow the person that loves you or that you call your significant other to be honest with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you just can't follow rules. He probably didn't say it as nice and casual as he just did right then.
Probably not then. I saw you on the couch. He'll tell me.
Taking up space.
Like, what are you doing in the house?
After you've been doing your real job all day.
There you go.
Okay, so I didn't like structure. I didn't like rules. And I didn't like, strategic, like regular policies and corporate way of doing things.
Right. I mean, but you had a natural knack towards making money.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't match. It didn't match your personality. It didn't match your drive. So your motivation is money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that sometimes what we do is you can't make as much money as you want to in a box than you can outside the box.
So he just said so much to me, right? So he said I had a natural knack for making money. I didn't always have that natural knack. How many times did I quit a real estate company, throw the key in their box and run home?
No, I mean,
because I was scared to sell.
No, but you're saying prior to real estate.
Yeah.
So prior to real estate, you had a knack for making money, but,
yeah.
but you were putting your energy in a lot of different spaces to make the money.
Right.
Right.
So you have to know what your natural bent is. So what I want to share with Kingdom Entrepreneurs and Marketplace Ministers is your passion and your bent is that thing you're naturally good at. That's what Marvin helped me identify. And that's why I wanted to have him on here today. He helped me identify that my natural gifts were making money. And I always felt like I wasn't getting paid what I was worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always, that's why I think a lot of times when we've had jobs, not Marvin, because he never complains about stuff like that. I always complain like, they want me to do this, and this. He's like, but that's what they're paying you for. Yeah, but they ain't paying me enough. So maybe if that's your mindset that I don't get paid what I'm worth, or I don't get paid enough, maybe it's time for you to create your own currency.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I agree.
So if it's time for you to create your own currency, begin to ask people around you, what are my natural gifts? When I tell you, I used to worry the stew out of Marvin. Marvin, what am I here for? What am I called to do? What's my calling? Why am I here? Oh my gosh, I got on his last nerves, right? But it pained me that I didn't know my calling.
Yeah.
It pained me that I would lose sleep at night. And then we'd have arguments around it. I can't tell you what you called to do. That's between you and the Lord. Hey, General Teacher Caldwell. But I envied Marvin because he always knew what his calling was. He always knew. I'll let you tell it, but how did you always know like what you were going to do when you grew up? Not that he's grown all the way up maturity wise, but he's grown up adult wise.
So some things just come naturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think most people avoid the opportunity that their natural bent allows them. Mm-hmm. So and they give in to what people say that they should do or should be.
That's good.
And so I made my mind up really early on in life that it's not that I'm trying to go against the grain. I'm trying to go against you, trying to put me into a box.
I love it.
So I just identified what comes naturally to me. And natural to me was serving. So through serving, it helped me become a servant leader later on in life as far as my career. So that, and just watching people around me, my grandmother was a servant, my mom, people around me were always serving other people, but I always saw how they prospered through that. It might not have been through money, mm-hmm. but it might have been through having favors, people showing my mom or grandma, whomever around me, favors because of how they treated the person. So I learned very early on that how you treat people, building relationships with people, was a way to not gonna get. I wasn't seeking wealth, but it helped me to understand how to build relationships and how to stabilize as far as income or whatever I need to do. So that kind of led me to the path of going through mental health, psychology, and all that kind of stuff, and serving people. But it just led me to want to serve at a different level. So each time I did something different as far as employment, I wanted to go to the next level, right? I wanted to serve people in a different capacity. And so that was my natural bent, was servitude. And so therefore servitude helped me understand that I can serve at many different capacities to earn an income. But the main thing for me was just, because it came easy.
So Marvin used the word stable. And if you know you're an entrepreneur, you're not stable, right? You have to be comfortable with instability.
Right.
But what you have to have is stability, right? And so it took us years to try to find that fine line between, okay, you're the stable adult, and I'm the
you're always trying to make me unstable.
You're the stable person.
No, what I'm saying, you were always trying to make me.
Yes, I was going to say that. I was trying to make him the unstable adult too. So come over. Okay. So I was the unstable one in terms of, I'm like, honey, let's go start this business together. Let's go do this together. Let's go own a real estate company together. Let's go own a hair salon together. And I always wanted him to be where I was. He doesn't get it. I can want you to be where I am, right? But what I realized is that, and it was years before we got, because we're talking about how to support your spouse in business, or getting your spouse to support you in business, or you supporting your spouse in business. It's a lot that you have to unpack and get to. This is 34 years, right? So it wasn't until maybe 10 years ago, if that long, Marvin said, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't want to be in business with you.
I'll support you. I'll build you. I'll do other stuff, but that's not what I do.
Oh God, what? He's just trying to kill me here, man. What are you doing? He said, I don't like being in business. It's not me. I love you, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. And I was like, what? He said, but I'm not going to get in your way. And so all those years, hey, Erica, God bless you. All those years of being together, I would try to make him do what I was doing. I would want him to be at the salon. So he was my shampoo assistant. He come fix stuff. He come clean stuff. But I want him to do hair, like be a barber in the salon. We own the salon together. I put his name on every business I've ever owned. Let's sell Amway together. Let's go sell weight loss together. Let's go sell.
I'm not a salesperson.
Art together. He's not a salesperson.
Right. Yeah.
So he just said in the beginning, he likes structure. He likes policies. He likes a balanced life. I love an imbalanced life. I love a hustle. I'm going out here and we're gonna figure this thing out. And if we die, we're gonna die trying, right? I'm joking, right? And so when you think, I'm sorry, the phone had cut out. But when you think about how do you support your spouse in business, one, you have to know, does your spouse even want to be in business? Does your spouse even like business?
Right.
And if they do they like anything about what it is you're doing? Hold on, I want to check the lighting right quick. Hold on. Okay, I was trying to make sure you could hear and see it. So, Marcus Malva, hey Marcus, we went to Sunday school together, St. Anne's together. His mom was our Sunday school teacher, cool. And so Marvin, I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But Marvin, he would always support me in these businesses, and he would go with me. He'd wear the T-shirt, he'd use the products, he'd do everything associated with the business. But it wasn't until I found out. He said, "I don't like business. I don't like selling. So therefore, I don't want to be in your business."
I'm not a salesperson. I do everything else.
And I was like,
I'll build
what?
I'll do everything else around it.
And so when we got to that place, even though we've owned tons of businesses together and we've done well in them together, but the minute that he was free to not have to do it, it made me free to be able to go even further. Because then I'm not trying to drag him along with me. I'm not trying to get mad at him because he won't go. I'm not trying to get mad at him because, well, why aren't you doing what I want to do? Well, I gave you the money. What more you want from me? Never complained about the money being spent. So how do you support your spouse in business? One thing is to find out, do they even want to be involved?
Right. Yeah.
And he just didn't want to be involved. He wanted, now if I say, will you go with me? He'll go, he'll sit there with me selling makeup, lipstick, and hair products, and he'll be on his phone.
Yeah. So it wasn't that I didn't want to be involved. I always want to support you and help you build it. And so, but as far as the day-to-day business of the businesses, yeah, no.
So then Marvin and I, and we realized this probably when she said, I don't like sales either, Pastor Marvin. That's Erica. She's so sweet, but you're so good at it. What are you talking about, girl? But that doesn't mean you like it just because you do it.
Right.
So when we had the real estate office together, this is kind of when it all came into fruition. Marvin had an office at the front and I had an office like in the back. I would go to Marvin's office and Marvin would be sitting there with his feet up on Aldo. What are you doing?
Buying shoes.
Oh my God. The devil is a black lie and a defeated foe. I'm over here sweating bullets trying to figure out how we're going to keep this office running and sell some houses. And this joker is on Aldo at our office looking for shoes. You better get out of here. You about to be out. So what he said to me was, Garlinda, I don't know that I like the real estate office side of things because there's nobody to tell what to do. It was the dumbest comment I've ever heard in my entire adult life. I was like, what? But tell him why you said that. He said, you can't tell anybody what to do. He said, what about the agents? I said, they're 1099.
Yeah, I can't roll like that.
They're grown people that are independent contractors. You can't make them come to the office. You can't tell them what time they should be there. You can't tell anyone anything that's a 1099.
Yeah, that's not my lifestyle.
Oh gosh. So go ahead.
Yeah, so that part, right? So for me, again, coming from a structured space, and
we're talking about supporting your spouse,
right? And leadership and management and so on. I'm more so in rule oriented. So if I can't, you guys sign these contracts, you guys and these create the contracts of the nature, but you telling me I can't hold you accountable to the contract. There's a problem with that for me. And so,
because that's the gray area of entrepreneurship.
And that gray area is the area that I
shouldn't say gray. What do I mean by that?
The 1099 aspect of you work with me. You have options.
Yeah,
your option is not to follow my rules,
right?
Or follow the rules that will not only help the business but also help yourself. It's kind of doesn't help me a lot.
So hence. He didn't stay working with me in real estate that long. Hey, Prophetess Shafine, I love you. She said she's not a seller either.
Yeah.
So when you're in business together as a spouse, I think it's important to figure out what each other's gifts are and what do you bring to the table. And if that means that I'm going to help you keep the table up and be stable with all the legs, or I'm going to give you the money and you go do what you want to do, just don't lose our money and don't go in our household funds, we're good. So I think you have to figure out what that balance is for each person. Yeah,
and you have to build a level of trust too, right? So a lot of people, a lot of spouses or couples, whomever, who are in a relationship and go to business together, there's an element of trust you have to have there too, because dealing with money, right? And so we know that in marriages and things of that nature, the number one divider of people in marriages is finances, is money. And so when you don't trust your spouse with being responsible, fiscally responsible with finances, then there's always going to be a problem. And so there's a space in which, for me, money,
fiscally responsible, whatever. Like he has a master's, so what? I thought you meant physically. You meant money responsible.
So for me, it's not that I can't pay bills or whatever and things of that nature, but I trust Garlinda to do it because she doesn't away that. So for me, if I have a bill, I'm trying